afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bazati's NUFC on the World of Sport TV. To say I'm nervous is an understatement. We've got a legend in the background of Newcastle United, and yeah, I'm quite speechless that he's actually decided to come onto this show. So it's an absolute pleasure to host him. And I've got Bill, my good friend as well, who's going to co-host with me and try and keep me on the straight and narrow. So this is Bazati's NUFC. Brilliant. Right, let's bring Bill in first. Hello, Bill. Thanks for joining me again, as always, and thank you for setting this up.
Well, Baz, look, it's a pleasure. You know, I do the sweet spot on a Monday, as you know, in the golf world, which I'm happy to do and happy to commit, you know, some time. And it's great to try and raise some money for disability golf, you know, and that's great. But also it's important to get the right people on. And I know you're pretty excited about it. I mean, this guy, yeah. Well, he you know, you will not meet a nicer guy, Barry, honestly, in sport. You know, he's such a good guy, such a good lad. And it's a pleasure that he's decided to come on and give some of his time, which I know is very precious. So I would suggest I'm going to obviously ask a few golf questions because you know that's important. I know there's a lot of Newcastle United questions coming up. I think that's fine as well. But you know, yeah. So why don't we get Les on?
Yeah, let's just quickly bang through these. Thank you for reaching 1,000. It is absolutely brilliant. But let's bring the legend in. Les, thank you. Thank you.
How are we doing, chaps? We okay?
Yeah.
How are you, though?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Not bad at all.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to let Bill start the show off.
Cheers, Les. Listen, thank you very, very much. And actually, Sky Sports, someone's just contacted me to say that they've just shown probably again your 100 Premier League goals. Which, you know, it's pretty good. You get half an hour. It was probably a half an hour program on that. So that's a pretty, you know, illustrious, I guess, achievement in itself. But from my point of view, you know, I know you love your golf. And I just would really like to know, where did it start for you? Was it with the football lads or before you sort of played football? How did you get into golf?
Amazingly, Bill, I never played golf while I was a footballer.
Oh wow!
In fact, I tell a lie. I played once when we in '98 when we went to the World Cup with England.
Yeah.
And Hoddle put on a golf day down in Ascot somewhere. I'm trying to think the name of the golf course. And
Sunningdale?
No, it wasn't Sunningdale. No, it was. It'll come back to me in a minute, Bill.
Okay.
But what happened was every player was given a golf bag and tailor-made clubs and everything. So he put on this golf day to play with all the journalists. So we had to have a golf day, and I went Millride. That's the name of the golf club. Millride. I told you to come back to me. But anyway, he put on this golf day, and we had to, you know, he said, even if you don't play, if you can come out and walk around. So anyway, I picked up the clubs and just walked around that day, hit a few, missed a few, and walked around the golf course, and that was it until I retired from playing. Mm-hmm. And then when I retired from playing football, I got to about 42, 43 years of age. One of my mates said to me, Les, we went on holiday, and he brought his golf clubs, and he said to me, Les, why don't you just learn to play so that even if when we come away with the missus and all that, we can go around the golf course. We don't have to sit around the pool every day. We can go and play a bit of golf. Yeah. So I was like, no. He said, just have a couple of lessons. And then, you know, when he actually went to play and I went with him and I hit his 5-iron. Always remember hitting his 5-iron a couple of times. And he went to me, if you took this seriously, Les, you'd hit the ball a long way. And I think that got into my head a little bit. You know, I wanted to hit it a long way. So I ended up going and having a few lessons when I got back. And then I obviously got hooked, like as it does to quite a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fabulous sport. And it's so, I mean, obviously it's social, of course. But you know, some of the guests we've had on the show, you know, have been great insight. But you playing golf with somebody for 4 hours, 4.5 hours, it's amazing what you can get out of them. And you know, and everybody's kind of relaxed. But do you have a regular 4-ball or a regular, you know, kind of football hookup?
Yeah, there's a regular 4-ball that I play with. Tim Sherwood's included in that 4-ball. Tim Sherwood, a fellow, a mate of mine called Jason Woodford, and another one called Mickey Millions, we call him. We tend to go around the golf course and try to tear it up. There's always a little bet going on, and there's always a little bit of camaraderie. And I promise you, Bill, you know, there's etiquette that's within golf when you go to take a shot. If you're winning, trust me, there's no etiquette from the other people. You know, sometimes, you know, there's a couple of times I've been on the tee, just about to take my swing, and then you know they're in close proximity, and I'm saying to them, I feel like I'm being marked by Tony Adams and Steve Boulder again. You know what I mean? But it's good fun. We have great fun on the course.
Yeah, Tim, I think you're all three have been at Loch Lomond, certainly.
All four of us have been up there.
Well, yeah. So it's I remember Tim in particular is he's quite a character actually. I could see him as a bit of a deadly assassin.
Mate, he's a good golfer. He's a good golfer, Tim. You know.
Yeah, I hear.
But what we do, we turn up, and we're all off different handicaps, and because these guys play 2-3 times a week. You know, if I can get out once, I get out. If I don't, sometimes 2 weeks goes by, I can't get out. And whenever we turn up, they put it on you because they go, I take it we're playing a man's game, yeah? And that means no shots. Like, that's what the handicap system's for. I thought we played with men and stuff like that, so we end up playing a man's game all off levels.
What is your handicap, Les?
My handicap's 8 at the moment, but my fellow players believe that I should get on this new golf handicap system, and my handicap would come down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's inevitable. There's no escape for anybody now.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I suppose there's always ways around these things. So, I mean, do you have a favorite golf course, Les? Is there somewhere that you think, yeah, you know, that's me, you know, whatever?
Well, I say Loch, don't I? I have to say Loch.
Yeah.
I can't say anything else. But I've got to be honest. I played 2 other courses. I say 2 other courses, play loads of courses, but whenever someone talks to me about golf and they say, "Where's one of the best places you've played?" I played at was it Westmoreland in Barbados, which I thought was stunning, and also Yes Links in Abu Dhabi. Which I thought was a fantastic course as well. And whenever I think of good courses, them 2 always spring to mind as 2 of probably 2 of the favourites that I've played.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi's quite a place really, and it's a fabulous golf course. You know, I have to totally agree. So, I mean, if you were sort of describing golf for you, Les, now, and you know, I know you're busy and you're involved with QPR, but you know, how would you describe golf for Les Ferdinand?
Most frustrating game in the world.
I think that is for everyone, though, isn't it?
I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
and you know, I suppose every golfer that's listening to this and has picked up a golf club will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you know, it's one of those things, and you know, even a pro say, you think one day you think you've mastered it. You think, I've had a great round here. I've hit the ball where I wanted to hit it. The next day you go out and you think I'm doing exactly what I did yesterday, but it's going in totally the opposite direction. So you know, it's kind of like I say it's what I do to relax, but it's never relaxing. That's the truth of it.
Well, you boy, I'm competitive as well, but you boys really would be competitive. I think you know, it's a kind of a winner's mentality. So I guess you know, in terms of golf, you know, for you, Les, has anybody? Is there any inspiration, you know, professional player that you look up to, or you think, he's definitely the boy that I think
obviously Tiger Woods would, you know, obviously really get the geezer that I looked at, and you know, growing up in where I grew up, golf wasn't a thing that we got anywhere near to playing. It weren't until I became a professional footballer that I kind of was introduced to the idea of golf and so on and so. It was really funny when all the clubs I played for, particularly Newcastle. Kevin Keegan used to love his golf, and he used to take us on trips, and we used to go to all the best golf courses in the country at times. You know, he'd take us away, and I remember going to Glen Eagles. I remember going all over the place, and all the boys would go out to play golf. And he used to say to me, whatever money we spend on golf for the individuals, you can spend in the spa. So I was the only one in a robe, and everyone was going out to play golf, and I was going down to the spa. Do you know what I mean? That was before I got anywhere near a golf club. Yeah. So it was interesting times, because like I missed out on some very, very good golf courses.
Yeah, well, you're
That's a good question for you.
Yeah, we've got a questions come in from Tom Dixon, so thanks, Tom. Sir Les, this is always going to come in. Who's the better golfer, you or Alan Shearer?
I think Alan plays a little bit more than me. And we had a good round a couple of months ago. We had a really good round. It was only we played 9 holes. And it was a 4. Well, actually, we played a 5-ball because there was no one after us. It was Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, Dean Saunders, and myself.
I bet that was a right laugh.
No, mate, it was. I played 9 holes, and my mate Jason Woodford was with us as well, and Dean Saunders made all the rules. Yeah, we had to abide by. And he came under punishment for every single rule that he made. It backfired on him on every single hole. Like he was saying, like 3 people had to agree on whether they was given a putt. And then he was within a distance, and he went, "You're not going to give that to me?" Then he just looked away. And I said after it, we played 9 holes, and it was probably the best banter I've had on a golf course or anywhere since I was playing. It was brilliant, you know. And I think Alan and Ian, because Ian and Alan, I think both play off around 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's right.
I played off 8. After 9 holes, they had 22 points. I had 21 points, and Jason and Dean had. I was just trying to think. I think they had about 15 or 16 points each, and so the bet was that we had to have a real nice bottle of wine. And that was the bet. They had to buy the nice bottle of wine, so them two had to cough up a couple of bottles of wine for us.
But it's funny. It's funny you mentioned Kevin Keegan, because I met Kevin at the K Club, and he was there for I think it was Roman Keating golf event, and he's a very, very approachable guy, because he basically said he was having a cup of tea, and he said, "Why don't you come over, sit down?" And he chatted for quite a while about football and golf, and he was a pretty open sort of guy, and he certainly had quite a lot to say about Newcastle United, but and I thought to myself, my God, what a personable, and his wife as well. He must have. He's obviously got a reputation for being a good man, motivator, but he certainly struck me as being a very passionate guy.
Yeah, it certainly is, and all the things you say, mention about him being amiable.
Are you okay, Les?
I think we lost a bit of sound there. Can you hear us? Oh.
And Kevin Keegan's come on to.
Keegan's probably ringing him. Going, what are you talking about me for on a live stream? Looks like Rosie might have to go out and come back in again.
Yeah, well, that's fine, and then I suppose it nicely leads into the kind of Newcastle United side of things, which I know that you've got quite a few questions about. But interesting, how golf that engenders that sort of passion and camaraderie. It's really, I think, so important for a lot of people. And the guests we've had on the golf show, and we've got some absolute beezers coming up as well. It's really interesting, from rock stars to sports people, how they, they all say the similar thing no matter what. It's about maybe about access to golf in the early days, We've talked about how good it is in Scotland for, different, if you like, different classes. It's a sort of a game for the people, less so in England. Ireland, I'd say, is behind Scotland as well. Scotland definitely has that sort of mantle. And it's interesting, Les saying, that actually for him to get to a golf course was really difficult in where he was growing up, but and others have replicated that sort of similar story. But it's the fun that they get through the regular 4-ball or the that kind of banter, and still competitive and still sport, and that competitiveness, that handicap system is incredible. It's the only sport really that you could have a handicap system that allows you to play against, Tiger Woods.
It gives you a bit of a level playing field, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Ronan Rafferty said to me, he said, I would be confident if you dropped the ball at Augusta, if you dropped the ball beside the green and I teed off the back, that I would still beat you. You're sort of thinking, God, I'd love to take up that. And one to play Augusta, but take up that sort of challenge. I think that when you start to the pros, and Ronan was number 1 in Europe, played in the Ryder Cup, and said he'll come onto the show, which would be fascinating as well. I think that it's kind of interesting that the pros' point of view, the sort of level that they get to, is just mind blowing. You see good club pros, but then you get into the real deal, and it's that confidence thing. Same, I'm sure Les, when he comes back on, will be the same about how he's made it in terms of football. But and others haven't it. Maybe it's confidence, and he was a striker, and putting the ball in the back of the net was absolutely huge. So I'm just going to check that.
It's probably got an important phone call, and it's probably cut him off.
Yeah. Well, Baz, you've got the having a problem trying to log back on. He's going to try from the computer. So right. So that should be a bit more stable, because I know a lot of people have questions, that they want to ask. Right. So for you're a Newcastle fan. So what's your views on Les and getting him on the show?
Oh, it's incredible. He's an absolute legend in my eyes. I know he's only there for 2 years, but when Keegan signed him along with Philippe Albert and David Ginola, it was the stuff of dreams, really. I mean, we never really heard that much of Ginola or Albert being a young kid. They were obviously foreigners, and we didn't have the access like we do now, so we didn't know who we were getting, but we knew what we were getting with Les. And the goals that he scored for Queen's Park Rangers to start with really stood him out as a out-and-out great forward. We had Andy Cole and Peter Beardsley that worked so well for 2 years, but then Keegan decided he wanted Les, and he went out and got him and sold Andy Cole in a controversial January window, and we all fell out with him a little bit, but we trusted him. And when we started that season, we won the first 13 games, I think it was. But we went unbeaten for 13 games. Top of the league at Christmas, massive lead, and then it all fell apart, unfortunately. We won't talk about that when he's back on, though.
And what in your view was, why did it fall apart? Because that's the famous interview, is it, with Keegan?
Yes, it is,
when you lost at Liverpool, that sort of,
It is. I think the reason why it fell apart is Keegan wasn't used to being in that position, trying to win a football league. It was his first managerial career. He wanted to win the Premier League so badly for the North East, because he's a fan as well. And I don't know if it was tactical, or the players that were in the squad at the time didn't have the knowledge to see out a game as well as what Man United did. If you look at Man United's record that season, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And we struggled against some lesser teams to put them away. Like Bolton, I think we struggled. With West Ham, we struggled. That game at Anfield that finished 4-3, that killed us off. If we got in a point that day, I think we would have won the league. But, it's hard to say why it fell apart. I mean, we had the right players. It just things went wrong, didn't it?
Yeah.
He's back.
Welcome back.
Technology, yeah, technology. You say golf's frustrating. I say technology is the most frustrating thing in this world at times.
Apologies, Seb.
No need to apologise. It happens. It's happened to me plenty of times on these streams. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, it's the way of it, I guess. But I suppose the Kevin Keegan thing, Les, sort of leads us into a bit of the Newcastle. So, Baz, I know there's a few boys want to ask a few Newcastle questions. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to sit back and listen with interest.
I'm going to change my screen because that is one of my favourite photographs of all time. And there's a few questions about the partnership that's going to come up, so I thought it was nice to have that there. So the first one, I was at this game, and my God, I was only 15. I got offered £250 for my ticket at a 15-year-old, and I said, not a chance of my selling my ticket for this game. So it's this one. So Stephen, who did the thumbnail for the show, asked, how did the squad feel after beating Man United 5-0?
I think there was a sense of relief. I think before the game, speaking to Kevin, before the game, I remember his team talk. And normally managers come in and they talk about the opposition and what they're going to do and blah, blah, blah. It was a really simple team talk. He just came in and he went, you old those people out there. He says,
sorry.
We lost to them last year. They picked us for the league. They humiliated us in the Charity Shield.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah. So was I. He said they humiliated us in the Charity Shield. You owe these supporters out there, and that was it. Simple, nothing else. That was all. And to a man, we totally all agreed. We knew that we'd let ourselves down, let you guys down, and we just wanted to. We were so desperate to win the game. We was desperate to win every game, but we wanted to put on a show for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, you never let us down, if I'm completely honest with you. We saw football that we've never seen the likes of again, and it was a pleasure watching that football team. Every time you went on the pitch, we knew we were going to be entertained. And you ask any Newcastle United fan, would they rather see us win a trophy or watch that football all year for the rest of their life? They'll say, watch that football again, because it was just incredible. For me, it was. I mean, I've had to endure all the rubbish afterwards, so... This one from Spenny. So, in an ideal world, if you were unemployed, would you like to be a director of Newcastle Football Club if it was offered? In an ideal world. In an ideal world, yeah, of course, I'd love to help to get the club back on track in an ideal world. But we don't live in an ideal world, do we?
No,
no, we don't, unfortunately. And you're doing a great job where you are, to be fair.
Yeah,
so,
Les, you're a hero at QPR as well. So
exactly. I've got business to finish here at QPR.
Yeah. Well, on the right track, as we said earlier.
Yeah. So, Carl says, out of all the managers you played under club and country, who did you get on with the best and why?
Well, okay. I was going through this the other day. I was talking to someone and talking about my coaching badges and I played under the late Jim Smith. I played under Jerry Francis, Trevor Francis, Ray Wilkins.
There's some names there.
I played under Kevin Keegan, Kenny Dalglish, Glenn Hoddle, George Graham. I played under Terry Venable. And I think it's really hard to say who I got on with the best and liked the most, because I think at different times in my career, though, there was managers that were absolutely correct for me. Jerry at QPR was fantastic for me. I learned loads of Don Howe. Although I didn't get on with Don Howe as a fella, I learned loads off of him as a coach. He was important for me in my career. Gordon Mill, when I went out to Turkey, who was probably the most pivotal person in turning my career around and getting me to where it ended up. He was probably the biggest stepping stone that I leaned on when I was growing up, in my early part of my career. So he was a massively important person for me, and I got on with him really well. Ray Wilkins, as well as being a manager and ex-teammate, he was a really, really good friend. So, I loved playing under Kevin Keegan. I loved playing under George Graham. Probably learnt a load under Terry Venables. Again, didn't personality-wise, didn't get on with Terry Venables, but thought he was probably arguably one of the best coaches that I've worked with. Glenn Hoddle would be in the same mould in terms of learning from. So it's really hard to, I really enjoyed my time with Kevin, but that's because the team were doing team did extremely well.
Yeah.
So that always has a factor to decision. So it would be very, very difficult for me to pick out one manager and go, that's the one. Although Jerry was very, very pivotal in my career.
Yeah. Amazing. Let's have a look. David, what was it like having thousands of fans turning up just to watch you train? So that was obviously at Newcastle. We were crazy, weren't we?
I was going to say to you that was quite unique, but like when I was in Turkey, it was the same sort of thing. We had a stand at the training ground, and every day people would turn up to watch training. I suppose I'd never seen it at an English club. So coming back and the training grounds usually quite sacred and quite secretive to most managers, but not to Kevin. Like everywhere we used to train at Maiden Castle, and you'd go into the shower after training, and there might be someone from the university in the shower just having a shower alongside you. It was a pretty open door policy at the training ground.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You never see that these days now, though, do you? With all these, was it Bielsa with his goggles and spies out trying to get tactics before games and stuff like that? So
and I suppose that's just the way football's become. It's distanced itself from what used to be a close relationship with the public.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think if interject before Lucy asks her question, Forest Green. Rovers is quite an interesting, kind of pretty close to the fans. Have sort of they're famous for their vegan burgers or whatever it is, and and they've sort of created something there which feels homely and feels like what we try to do at Loch Lomond's a home from home, and that's obviously part of what they've got going, and all of a sudden they're getting a bit of success. So it's obviously not always good to keep the fans at a distance, and they seem to have. I'm not sure their business model, Les, but whatever they've got going is they've brought a club up. I mean, sustaining it's going to be their big thing, but they've brought a club up from nowhere, and they're doing quite well.
Yeah, and the way they've gone about doing it, as you said, it's almost like bringing the game back to the fans.
Yeah.
Giving them an input and making them feel really, really involved in what's going on at Forest Green. And, as you said, they're doing well, they're going in the right direction. And while they're doing that, they're going to, what they're thinking about is the next generation of supporters, and the way that they're doing things at the moment, they're going to gain those types of supporters that they're looking for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Lucy, sorry, I busted.
No, it's fine. So who was the best player you played against in the Premier League? She thinks you're going to pick Paul Scholes or Roy Keane because she's a Man United fan. I work with her.
Oh, right, okay, no. Best player, cool. I mean, I always go by defenders who I find it hard to play against, and Tony Adams would be up there. He was tough to play against. In terms of who was the best player in the league that I've come up, who I thought was, probably just trying to think who was the best. Henry probably was one of the top ones that I come across. I think when he was at his best, he made football look like he was playing in the park with his mates.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That goal he scored against Arsenal with the flick and then over Bartez's head. That was just crazy, wasn't it? But you could have said Shearer when you were at Queen's Park Rangers.
You can't. Liz, you cannot admit that.
I love it. So, Liz, my mum, I thought this was a great question, to be fair, from my mum. What were your first thoughts when walking out on St James's Park as a Newcastle player?
I always remembered before we played a couple of pre-season games, and I became very friendly with Lee Clark and Steve Watson. They took me under their wing, so to speak. And I always remember sort of like having a bit of banter with them before the season started, and they both of them said to me, "You wait till you walk out of the tunnel on the first day of the season, and the noise, you won't believe it." And you know, we played against Newcastle as a QPR. I played against Newcastle as a QPR player before, but walking out that day, it was everything they said it was going to be. And I remember it was almost like floating out the tunnel because of the noise. It was like it lifted you up and took you onto the football pitch. And it's one of the things you have some unique moments in your career, and it's one of the things that I'll never ever forget. And I always remember looking back and looking at Steve Clark and Steve Watson and them going, as if to say,
Did you score? Did you score?
I did. Yeah, I did on the debut, yes, I did.
Good lad.
Amazing. And my mum says, can I have Rob Lee's telephone number? But we're not going to go into that. Chris Curry, one of my friends, how did KK approach you about giving Alan Shearer the number 9 shirt? So obviously this was quite a big deal because it's, as you know, it's an iconic shirt. And we were so proud that you were wearing it. And obviously Geordie Boy was coming home. You know, was there a battle or was it a very simple, you know, go on, you can have it?
It wasn't a battle. It was simple that, you know, Kevin Keegan came and asked me. We were just on our way to pre-season. We were going to, I think, Hong Kong. Was it Hong Kong? We was going to Japan, China, and Thailand.
Yeah.
Pre-season. Got to the airport and I'd run up the escalators. Got, you know, Terry McDermott came up after me and said, "Look, Kevin wants a quick word with you." I said, "Oh, you can see me when we're in duty free, mate." And he went, no. He said, no, Liz, come on, Terry. He's here at the airport. He's coming. So he see me in duty free. You're like, you know where we're going. I need to load up. And he was like, no. He started laughing. He said, no. He's waiting for you downstairs. So anyway, I came back down the escalators and he was standing in this little alcove. And he said to me, "Look, I want to tell you something. And you're the first person I'm telling out of all the players because I want you to know because when it happens, it's going to go crazy." He goes, "Look, we're going to try and sign Alan Shearer today." And I went, brilliant. I said, brilliant. I said, you know, because at one stage during the season before, Keegan had said to me that you needed help. You know, we were relying on you too much. You needed help. And obviously, Asprilla came in, and you know, I just thought with them two, you know, that would mean even more goals for us. Yeah. So I said, yeah, no problem. I said, brilliant, great news. And he goes, the reason I'm telling you is because when it's announced, because of the fact that other managers don't believe you and Alan Shearer can play together, he said, I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong. I just think it's a combination that can work. And he said, but everyone's going to be saying, because you've signed Alan Shearer, it means Les Ferdinand's going to be leaving. I want you to know you're not leaving the football club. I said, excuse me. I said, thank you very much. Great. And I went, right, I'm going. And he went, there's just one other thing. I said, what's that? He said, he's asked for the number 9 shirt. And I went, and what did you say? And he said, I said, I'd ask Les. So he goes, well, look, you know, he's everywhere he's been, he's worn the number 9 shirt. He's worn it all his career. I said, so have I. And he goes, I didn't realise that. And then he went on to talk about the number 7 at Liverpool, said it didn't really mean that much as a number. At the time, he just wanted to play for Liverpool and so on and so forth. So in all the time I was calculating, I was listening to what he was saying, I was going back with a few bits and pieces. But all the time I'm calculating in my head, this is, you know, a Geordie boy coming back to his boyhood club. Probably 99% of the supporters will probably want him to wear the number 9 shirt. So I said to him, listen, the mere fact that you're asking me means you want him to have the shirt. So if you're the manager of this football club, if you want him to have the shirt, give it to him, no problem. And so I saw like, and he stood there, Terry McDermott stood there, and I said, I'll see you later. And I just walked in and went up the escalators and went to it wasn't until we got to, obviously, we jumped on the plane, and it wasn't until we landed in Thailand that all the players knew that we'd signed Alan Shearer. And then obviously they saw him like at the stadium with the number 9 shirt, and they all looked at me and went, what's happened there? Because I hadn't told anyone on the plane, like, you know. So all the boys had gone, what's happened there? And I was like, nah, manager asked me for the number 9 shirt, and some of them was like, did you sell it? That's what I would have done. I would have made sure I had to pay for it like that. That was it. And then, but the only kind of thing that disappointed me with all of that was that the club had come to me and said to me, look, they wanted me to have a number between, because I went to Tomo, the kit man at the time, and I said to him, what numbers have you got available? And there was a few numbers, and then number 23 was available, and I was like a big Michael Jordan fan, so I was like, right, I'll have the number 23. And then I got a call saying, no, the board has said they want you to have a number between 1 and 11. And I went, well, I had one of them, and they took it off me. Right? So anyway, there was a bit of backing and forth, and then all this stuff come out about I wanted 69, I wanted 99, I wanted all these stupid numbers, and that was never ever a conversation. All that happened was I said no, I didn't want to take anybody else's number, and then I was told that Lee Clark was leaving and he was going to Sunderland, so his number was available. And the thing is, me and Clarkey were neighbours. Yeah, we lived in the same flat. Yeah. And I always remember him saying, as long as you don't take my number. And I went, that'd be stupid. I'm never going to say it. Obviously, you know, because I thought he was going to Sunderland, I had the number 10, and, you know, we had to cross paths, and it was quite quiet in the mornings where we jumped in the lift together for a little while. Do you know what I mean? I was like, come on, Clarkey, man. You know, I wouldn't have taken your shirt and all that. Yeah, he was all right there.
It's a shame about Lee Clark. He was a great player as well, and obviously a local lad.
You know what? When you join a football club, you always know about players. And I always say there's 2 players that I played with that I didn't realise how good they were until I played with them. I played with them. Rob Lee and Lee Clark were the 2 players that, you know, once you played with them, you realised how good a players they were.
Yeah. Rob Lee was fantastic for us. He really was. I always remember that header at Wembley. It's just a shame we never went on to win that cup that we deserved, but these things happen. Here's a good one. Given the choice, would you have liked to have seen your career out at Newcastle, and what was your favourite goal?
You know, listen, sometimes I sit back and you know, I've watched over the years what's gone on there, and sometimes it's hard to believe I was only there for 2 years. When I see some of the players that have been there for like 10 and 6 years,
stole a wage.
Yeah, I was only there for like 2 years. Had a fantastic time, absolutely loved it. And I always say to people, I made a decision based on pride rather than what was the best thing for my career. You know, once the club had told me they wanted, you know, they accepted a bid for me, I felt I wasn't wanted anymore. And then obviously Alan got injured, and they tried to coach me back, but he was only coaching me back because there was an injury to your main man, and I just kind of like felt, you know, I wasn't wanted anymore, and that was the reason I left. But yeah, for sure, I'd have loved to have stayed at the club for a lot longer than I did. I think everybody knows it.
Yeah. And your favourite goal?
My favourite goal. I always think about the first goal I scored, because I'd always known that the number 9 was an iconic shirt at Newcastle, but when I scored my first goal, it was only then I probably realised how iconic and what that number 9 meant, because I remember the roof coming off the stadium, you know, and I was like, wow. You know, so that's the one goal, and, you know, I felt like I scored some good goals while I was there. But that's the one goal that stands out to me. And every time someone asks me about my time at Newcastle and goals, that's the one I remember more than anything else.
Amazing.
Well, Les, was there a ground that you particularly didn't like going to?
Yeah, you know, not a lot of people know this, but Highbury. I never scored at Highbury, whether it be in the first team or in the reserves. Never ever scored at Highbury.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, this will probably make you smile, but when I was working, you know, I'm privileged, I guess, over 20 years now to be working in golf, and at the time, I'd set up a new golf club for Hilton, and it was in Ireland, and I got a call into the office to say that Norman Whiteside and Viv Anderson were at the reception desk, and I thought, someone's winding me up. So I went around the corner, and it was Norman Whiteside and Viv Anderson. So I said, well, why don't we get a coffee, boys, and sit down, and you can tell me, you know, what you're thinking of. So they said, look, we'd like to have a golf day. Les, this is absolutely true. I don't know if I've told this story, but I know you're going to enjoy it. And about 20 minutes into the conversation, I said, do either of you 2 boys play golf? And they went, no. And I said, well, why do you want to have a golf day? And they said, well, we think it's a good thing to do to raise some money for charity. And I said, well, that's a first. Anyway, sure, we'll do our best, but maybe you boys should get a couple of lessons and it's just like, on golf day, but neither play golf. Anyway, what Norman said was that he'd never played at Ellen Road, that Leeds had never, or hadn't, whatever, he'd never crossed their paths, hadn't been promoted or at the time. And, these little sort of strange facts, he said people wouldn't really assume they've played at Ellen Road and never have played at Ellen Road. So the Highbury example is a good one, Les.
Yeah, I actually love the ground, the old ground, the way it was. But for whatever reason, I'd hit shots and I'd think, oh, that's it. And just never, like I said, never in the reserves, never in the first team, never scored at home.
Wow,
gosh,
didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Here's a good one from a good lad. I talked to him yesterday. Junior Turner, he's got a single out called Banks of the River Tyne. He would like to know if you would like to listen to it. It's on YouTube and you can get it on iTunes and all that sort of stuff. There you go, mate. I plugged it for you.
Download it.
Well, it got played, the very first song, at St James's Park at the weekend. So it is very, very good. So I've done it for him. I plugged it. And then his question is, do you think KK could still do a job for NUFC in the short term while they're looking for a permanent manager? I did tweet this out and it got a 50-50 response because I would love to see Kevin Keegan till the end of the season with Shearer and Graham Jones together. I think it would work well.
I think what that would do would probably give you the lift that you need. The club needs at the moment. Obviously, it would get, but listen, I listened to the lift that the club got on Sunday, and that weren't quite enough. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to need someone that is very tactically aware, and I know Graham Jones is a good coach, but you're probably going to need a little bit more than that to get yourselves out of the trouble that you're in at the moment. You're going to have to add to that squad, and you're going to have a manager that's going to be able to attract the players to come to the club at this moment. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying the money that they've got, but people and players are still ambitious, and they want to know that Newcastle United are going to be in the Premier League next season, which I sincerely hope they will. I'm sure they will be, but you're going to need someone to go in there and be tactically astute at what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. But I still love to see Kevin Keegan do it, just for the heart says do it.
It would certainly get it would certainly give the club and everybody involved in it the lift it needed. Kevin's been out the game for a long time. I'm sure he keeps abreast of everything that's going on. I'm not sure whether would he have the enthusiasm, would he have the appetite to come back and want to do it?
That's another good question.
I'm not sure.
Here's a great one as well, because you used to work with them. What are Newcastle going to expect from Jamie Rubin at Newcastle? What do the fans expect from him?
I think Jamie's like, listen, while he was on our board, he was desperate for the club to be successful. I think he learnt a few things and he brought some good ideas to us as well when he was on the board. So, he'd be full of enthusiasm, full of ideas, the right ideas for taking the club forward. And one thing they have got is a bit of finance behind them as well. So he's a good guy. He's a really, really good guy. And I know once there was talk about, him and his family going in at Newcastle, I knew it was going to be in good hands.
Awesome. And this one might be a quick, very short answer. What are your thoughts on Mike Ashley?
I mean, listen, I've said it time and time again. It was never, from the day he came in and changed the name of the stadium, he'd kind of like put himself up against it. And it just wasn't a match made in heaven. He spent a bit of money, not as much as the punters wanted him to spend. And it was just a topsy-turvy time while he was at the club. And, there was this love-hate relationship. I'm not sure who was loving him. I'm not sure who was hating. But it just didn't work, and it just went on for too long. And it's got to this stage, and I think Mike will be delighted that he's out of there. The supporters are delighted that he's out of there, and I think we just move on and look forward rather than backwards now.
Yeah, I'd agree. Les, you said you'd come on for half an hour. You've been absolutely brilliant. Really, it's really fascinating. I mean, I said you're a good lad, and you absolutely are. I've got a bit of a golf question for you that just was sitting here mulling over. Is there a round of golf that you've had that sticks out in your memory, and if so, where?
Thanks, Bill. I thought you'd never ask, mate.
I just got your text.
How much did you pay him?
No, do you know what? I played. One of my mates is a member at a club called Wisley.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I played there with him, and I remember I played with. Again, I was playing with my mate Jason and the two other guys. One of my mates was a member, and he was playing. There was another member there, and so as we got onto the first tee, he says, "All right, we're the members. We'll take you two boys on, and if we're beating you too badly by the 9th hole, we'll swap partners." So I said, just the kind of talk I like,
Yeah, yeah.
I remember sort of like on the first tee, I took my 3-wood, I snap hooked it so far left. I thought, no. And anyway, managed to find it, hit it onto the green, and putted, made par.
All right.
I went on and I finished 2 under.
Oh,
At the time I was playing off 10.
Oh, wow!
I finished 2 under, and it was the best round of golf I had. And I said to my mate Jason, said to me, and my mate Jason can talk. He really can. I mean, non-stop.
Yeah.
And he went, I know I normally talk a lot. And he went, and I did just talk all the way around because I was watching you and I was thinking, I'm in no trouble here today.
Yeah.
Everywhere, every shot you hit, wherever they said you needed to be, that's where I hit it.
Yeah.
And when I finished, the guy that said that we'd change it halfway, he turned around and he said to me, I've played here for a long time now and I've not seen anyone have a round of golf like that around here. And he said, especially playing off 10. I went, and so that's the one that sticks out in my mind.
And John Gannister is the manager. He's a good lad, actually. And it's a pretty good setup to have there. To be fair to him. And it's not an easy course. 2 under playing off 10. That's absolutely crunched it.
It might have been 9. It might have been 9 because I was on 9 for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, even so, it's pretty bloody impressive. Baz, I reckon one more question maybe for Les.
Just going to ask, has he got time for 3 more? Because there's a good Queen's Park Rangers question in there as well. Is that all right?
Come on in, Baz.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very quickly, one from Billy, who's not feeling too well at the moment. 97-98 season, you threw your shirt into the St Andrews crowd. Was that you saying goodbye to the fans in your own way?
No. No, a lot of people deemed it that, but before the game, there's a boy in a wheelchair. I didn't actually throw my shirt into the crowd. There was a young boy in the wheelchair, and when we was warming up for the game, he asked me, "Could I have your shirt at the end of the game?" And it's just so it's typical of how things happen. There was lots of rumours that I was leaving and blah 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 blah. And I went over at the end of the game and gave him my shirt, and everybody deemed that as that was me saying goodbye. But no, it wasn't, because up until then, I wasn't sure whether I was leaving or not. It hadn't been decided, it hadn't been sorted that I was leaving.
Yeah. Okay. Just got to say, we were absolutely disgusted that you left, and of the management of Newcastle. It was a stupid decision. We were absolutely devastated, mate. We really were.
Well, I was as well.
Yeah, I bet you were. Very quickly again, so 2 more. Why do you think you and Shearer gelled so well at club level, but not so well at international? I don't know why it says Weber there, but there you go.
That's so easy to answer because we never really played it.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was thinking of that.
I think when I for the time that I was involved with the England squad, I mean, with Alan was Terry Venables had made it plain that Alan was going to be his number 1 choice. And he didn't see myself and Alan playing together. So under Venables, I don't think we ever played together.
Wow.
Not really given a chance by the sounds of it. Yeah.
And then once we played together at club level and scored all those goals, I played a game with him under Glenn Hoddle, and both of us scored in the game.
Wow.
So we did gel together. We did play well together. And the reason why we didn't play well together in international because we never really played together in international.
Never got picked.
That almost seems
criminal.
That just seems criminal. That's what, God. Okay.
Last one, but this is the Queen's Park Rangers one. Annie's a good lad. He loves the Championship. He's a Bristol City fan. How do you feel being part of the project at Queen's Park Rangers? As a neutral, it seems Queen's Park Rangers are the only challengers to the parachute teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken us a long time to get here, and it's been a real difficult period in terms of changing the mentality of the club. What we had at club, you know, when I went in through the door, we didn't have any assets. We had no assets at the club. We had an aging team earning very good money, but not producing on the football pitch. And you had a few boys that wanted to get away. Because they felt they wanted to be playing in the Premier League. And I used to say, well, hang on a minute, you're the ones that got us relegated.
Yeah.
You know? But we've turned that all around now, and I'd like to think, you know, we sold the boy Eze to Crystal Palace for near on 20 million, and we've got a few more assets in the side now. But not only that, the team's playing well, so it's really nice being involved with the football club. You know, it was where I started my career, and I want to see them back in the Premier League.
Right. You've got a good chance this season if you keep it going.
Yeah. Les, listen, you really have donated a lot of time, so you've gone past what I asked. So, you know, thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll see you very soon, and it'd be great to see you up here. But you know, and answering those questions as well, and you know, it was really fascinating. The golf was really fascinating to hear from, you know, a professional sports person's point of view. I'm always interested to hear, you know, how they get on in a game that, you know, they find, well, as you say, not relaxing, but challenging, but it still brings out sporting behaviour or non-sporting behaviour. So, Gaz, you got your man. So you got your man, Les.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Les, listen, thank you, and good luck to QPR.
Good luck to QPR. Really good speaking to you guys.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Les.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That was amazing. Mind blown.
Yeah.
My bloody light's going as well.
Yeah. What a nice guy, eh?
Oh, unbelievable.
Great insight. Great
insight. Nice person. Great. He'd never dodged a question, and there was some really good questions in there, and you know, ones that would bring back memories that, you know, we would rather have seen a different scenario. The Haaland being sold to Tottenham, that broke my heart, because the partnership with that team got ripped apart when Kenny Dalglish took over, which I know there was a few people wanting me to ask that question, and I stayed away from it because I thought it's not a good one. But yeah, because he was a legend in my eyes, and two years wasn't long enough, but what a career he had for those 2 years, and he became a Newcastle legend because of it. So,
yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I didn't know it was only 2 years. You know, I would have thought, you know, I'm not a Newcastle fan, but I would have thought that it was a lot longer than that. But did Ruud Gullit come in after Kevin Keegan? Was he? No,
it was Kenny Dalglish. Kenny Dalglish came in and ripped the team apart. Shearer did a sliding tackle against Everton and smashed his cruciate ligaments. And we'd already accepted a fee from Spurs to sell Les. And then obviously that's what he was talking about, the backtracking. He ended up selling Tino Asprilla that year as well. And then we were left with John Dal Thomason, who was a young lad coming through the ranks, who ended up leaving Newcastle after having a nightmare with us and winning the Champions League with AC Milan. Because he got asked to play as a striker when he wasn't a striker. He was a number 10. And that was all because Shearer got injured. So all the plans that year just folded. He got rid of Peter Beardsley as well, my hero. You know, Beardsley was just phenomenal for us. But he was at that age where he was 37, 38, and everyone said he couldn't do it anymore. And I think he went to Bolton and still did it. So Kenny Dalglish was the reason why Newcastle slumped. And then there was a few other managers before that, Graham Souness. There was, you know, Ruud Gullit, you mentioned. There's been so many bad eggs, but the good eggs were Keegan, Bobby Robson, Chris Hughton, Rafa. But amongst all them, there's been so much rubbish. Yeah. You know, who stole a wage in the Northeast, and just one of those things, isn't it? But
Baz, that is a thing of the past, as Newcastle is the richest club in the world. So you got to get your head around that. They're still going to make good decisions. The manager, it sounds as if they're getting close to appointing a manager, and the football world watches with interest. I think the one thing that I would always associate with, which is again going back to the Les interview and talking about Alan, is a number 9. From Malcolm McDonald, kind of through number 9. I know at Newcastle United is hugely important. I wouldn't rule out Harry Kane. If the ambition is there, he'll want to know, as Les points out, what the ambition is of the manager and the team. But you need a talisman. So that's possibly how I see it. I've got a plug Monday show if you don't mind. I've got a couple of American guys on Monday. It's going to be really interesting. One of them setting up a new website. He calls himself Average Dad. He's quite a funny guy, and he's going to give a bit of a quirky insight into playing golf in the States. The other chap's been involved in a lot of championships and running championships in the USA, and he's played over 500 golf courses, which is incredible.
Wow.
And he has I'll have a great insight into the land of golf in America. So please choose and come in. This station's really taken off, well over 1,000 subscribers in no time. But you can see the sort of people that we can attract. And if you've been following the golf, and we've had a really stellar start with Sir Geoffrey Boycott, whose birthday it is today.
I wish them happy birthday.
Yeah, so that got off to a great start, and so it continues with people actually asking to come onto the show, and I guess that's what's setting us apart, maybe from some of the rest. But it's nothing without people watching and asking questions. And from my point of view, I've thoroughly enjoyed Les and being with you, Barry, as well, and dipping into the world of football. But I'll be back I think we're going earlier at 7:00 on Monday, and back to the golf show for me. But Baz, there you go, one of your heroes. It was a great show. It was a great show.
Amazing. Yeah. It's nice to actually finally do a show with you, because obviously I stay out of the golf side of things, because you and Billy know a lot more than I do. I love the game. Yeah, I'm not as knowledgeable as you. So
you're welcome anytime. You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Okay, everybody. I've got to go, and I've got to go back to work. But I really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me on as well. Cheers.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for setting it up. Speak to you soon.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
So that was Les and Billy. Unbelievable. Les Ferdinand on the World of Sport TV. Never thought I would ever get to do anything like this and meet one of my heroes. Just speechless. Really am. Chippers, what a guy Les was. I'm still bowing. I think I am as well. My light's going outside. I've had to move upstairs because the little one's having tea downstairs. I've got to go and order my Indians now because I can't wait for it. I just want to apologise to everyone in the comments. Unfortunately, the questions were pre-asked on Twitter to DM me, and I had a big response in all those questions. We just got through them in enough time for Les. If we had more time, I would have dipped into the comments and asked the questions as well. But unfortunately, Les had to go, and he did give us 45 minutes of pure joy, reminiscing and asking some great questions. So absolutely loved that. Absolutely amazing. Please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We hit over 1,000 today. Absolutely incredible that we've got there. Shocked that we've got there so quickly. Everybody who follows me on Twitter, who I've messaged and asked for support, thank you so much for listening and calling and subscribing. It's been incredible. This prize will be given away shortly. We want to get another 100, 150 subscribers through the door, and then one lucky subscriber who's told me they've subscribed and I've got them in the draw will win this prize. And it's a 2005 fully signed squad shirt. So, do subscribe and let me know, and we'll get you on. Thanks, Dave. Really enjoyed it. So there we go. Some great questions in the comments. I'm so sorry we couldn't ask them all. I really am. But I've been Bazza T. This has been Bazza T's NUFC on the World of Sport TV channel. Don't forget to tune in over the next few days. We've got the look ahead with No Context Humour on Twitter. He's a Crystal Palace fan. He's coming on Friday night. We've got the Championship Roundup show on Sunday, we've got the watch along on Saturday with myself and hopefully someone else for the Newcastle game. And Monday night, like Phil said, the Sweet Spot is back as well with two Americans and who play a lot of golf and know what they're talking about. So we do like your golf. I know a lot of people don't, but golf is great. Please tune in and please enjoy everything that we've been doing. But have a lovely evening, and I'll speak to you all on Twitter soon. Take care.